Christoph, the Bundesliga relegation playoffs brought the maybe expected result. Stuttgart, the team from Bundesliga 1, stayed up. Hamburg is staying down. 6-1 on aggregate. Maybe the result in the second leg slightly flattering the Swabians, but overall, could we see the difference in class, quite literally? And what does it say about this relegation playoff that we've had, what is it, only 3 wins in the last 12, I think I'm right in saying?
No, it's since 2009 when the relegation returned, because it started in 1982 and went on until 1991. And then it was abandoned and it returned in 2009. And you're right, only 3 cases where the Bundesliga team went down after these relegation matches. It was Energie Cottbus in the first season, and then it was Hertha in 2012, losing to Fortuna Düsseldorf, Energie Cottbus losing to 1. FC Nürnberg, and famously in 2019, Union Berlin making it to the Bundesliga, and Stuttgart at that time had to go down. But what we can see is, I think we really have to think about if it makes sense in the future to have this relegation in a way we have it right now. Because the gap between the Bundesliga and the second Bundesliga, I think, is too big, and you could see it in these 2 matches. The one on Thursday, it was 3-0 in the first leg for Stuttgart, and it could have easily been 4-0, 5-0, or even higher. And I don't think the result was flattering for Stuttgart yesterday, but anyhow, I mean, maybe it could have been a draw. So, but it's apart from the first 10 minutes when Hamburg was really creating a lot of energy. He had this early goal by Sonny Kittel, we're 1-0 up, everybody ecstatic, but then I think Stuttgart managed to control the match. I wouldn't say easily, but but they could manage to control it, and in the end, won 3-1. 3-1? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with a late goal, the third one, and when everything was already decided. But what do you think? I mean, should we probably adopt this this English version of how it's done in the English? Should we adapt the English model? What do you think?
Well, the problem with the English system is that, of course, when you have 3 teams going down from 20, the chances of staying up are still quite high. When it's 3 from 18, it gets a lot more complicated. And I think it's going to be hard for the Bundesliga 1 clubs to say, you know what, fine, let's just get rid of three teams every year. So let's say you agree to that. Then, yes, then I would say it doesn't really make a lot of sense at this point to have the 3rd best team from Bundesliga 2 play against the 3rd worst team from Bundesliga 1. Maybe the difference isn't always as big as it was between Stuttgart, who, as we were saying on this podcast, shouldn't really be there anyway, and we could see their quality. But the difference in money is vast, because Bundesliga 2 clubs, they, unlike, let's say, in the championship, they don't spend huge amounts of money betting on going up, and then when they do go up, they have a reasonable chance of staying up, especially if they add then another 100 million. They have to be much more careful. Hamburg, as the biggest Bundesliga 2 club, have about a budget of 40 million euros. That is, I think, about a third what Stuttgart have. And that shows on the pitch. So I don't think it's a fair battle in a way. So the only thing you could do is either say, let's just leave it with 2 and forget about the third altogether. Or if you want those extra games and you want the extra drama, then just have a playoff between Bundesliga 2 clubs. But to get the Bundesliga 1 clubs involved at this point, it doesn't seem to really give us much, because the difference 3 out of 14 times, as you said, is just a bit too vast.
I would like to have a Bundesliga with 20 teams, actually.
Christoph.
And you know, I'm a traditionalist, and the Bundesliga almost all the time had 18 teams. Only in the first 2 seasons they had 16, and then there was 1 season, or was it 2? I don't remember, when
I think it was
1 season after reunification, when the East and West German football was merged, but we've stayed to 18. But I mean, Germany is a country with 80 million people, and I think it's easy to have 20 teams. I know that all these teams that are in the Bundesliga right now wouldn't agree, because they had to distribute money that is now with them, with 2 others. But I think it would be a good idea. And then, as you rightly say, then you can adapt the English system and have these fantastic playoffs between the third to 3, 4, 5, third to 6 in the second division.
Yeah, or you could have 19 teams.
Oh,
and then every week 1 team has a break and can go and play in South Korea or Saudi Arabia.
Okay, you're the modernist. I see it. I think we won't make many friends with that suggestion and with this plan. And yeah.
Not.
But let's talk a second about Hamburg. It was very impressive how they were supported, even after everybody realized again they won't make it to the Bundesliga. They go into their 6th season now in the second division. So, and you see how difficult it is now for even a club of the size of Hamburg is to return to the Bundesliga. There is the sense about Hamburg that the club who was divided and not at all well run, that they have found some kind of unity. But I don't like the football they are playing. I don't like this Walter Ball, named after their coach Tim Walter, whose contract was extended, or the news broke that after the game his contract is extended until 2025. But what do you think about it? I think it's just too risky.
Because you think they have no stability at the back with too many players going forward, or?
Yeah, exactly. So what they are doing for everybody who hasn't seen them play is one aspect is that they always play out from the back. They never hit long balls. Even in the most desperate moments, they drilled to play it out, and they do it, I think, well. You see a lot of triangles, a lot of movements, good positional play, and so on. But still, it's risky because there seems to be the iron rule. It isn't allowed, never allowed, to whack it up front. And the other thing is, I think you could see it especially in the first leg in Stuttgart. Stuttgart had so many spaces. I think they were like, oh, we didn't ever have that in a single Bundesliga match. Great, it's so much fun to play here. because Hamburg is attacking very high, and the Restverteidigung, so the rest defense is low in numbers. So very often their defenders have 1-against-1 situation, nobody helping you, no protection, and so on. I mean, if I would be fan of Hamburg, that would kill me.
You're nearly dead from supporting VfL Bochum with your near-life or near-death experience. We don't want to push you over the edge with Hamburg. I think what an interesting thing they do is they like to push their centre-backs into midfield. There's always, I think, you have to, playing in that team, move. So when the two centre-backs, they pass the ball each other, they're not keeping their position, but one of them then starts running into midfield, which is nice for the build-up, and I guess makes their game quite dominant. But of course, then that person might be missing if you lose the ball further up. And you know what I think? Having seen this team live not long ago, you can really see the difference in the players. Bundesliga 1 and 2, everything takes a little bit longer. They're a little bit slower. Technically, they're just a little bit worse. And I think he likes to. I think his football would work better with better players. Maybe everyone's football works better with better players, but I think his players, in particular, maybe are being asked a little bit too much from the system. But Jonas Bold, the sporting director of Hamburg, is very happy with him. They're very close. They seem to have the support from the board, and they will stick together and try and make it happen next season.
So let's see. What do we learn from Stuttgart's performance in the relegation? They were dominant. They deserve to win it. They deserve to stay in the Bundesliga. No doubt about it. After a can we say terrible season? I don't know, but a roller coaster season with 4 coaches: Pellegrini, Materazzo, Michael Wimmer, who took over as an interim coach, Bruno Labbadia, who probably laid the foundation that the club was safe, because they were actually really fit also towards the end of the season, and then he was replaced by Sebastian Hoeneß, and I think under Hoeneß they looked like the best version of themselves. So can we be optimistic for them, or are there some inbuilt problems that desperately needs to be repaired?
I think we can be optimistic. I think they probably weren't the third worst team in the Bundesliga. If Sebastian Hoeneß takes over earlier and has this good run, then they're maybe safe in mid-table. He will have more time with the team. I hope that they will not have to sell any of their big players. I think that would really help. Wanyuman or Girassi, you take them out, then I think that would hurt them. Or Bona Sosa as well.
I think their absolutely key player is Vaturo Endo. I mean, he is like the hard-ons. He is not only the team captain, interestingly, a team captain who almost doesn't speak any German, but he is the spiritual leader. He is the example for everybody else. He is so impressive. I think every team can be happy to have a player like him on the pitch, and I think there are clubs that see it and might be interested in him. But I also agree, Wanyuman is also very good, and Girassi, I mean, he was their lifeline towards the end of the season.